Why, hello everyone, how are you doing this fine day? Hope you're enjoying your week. Welcome to another survival challenge, in particular, a Palworld survival challenge. Last couple of weeks I've been looking for new things that I can do survival challenges for, and I was on PlayStation the other day and saw they had this shit on sale for like 15 bucks. I was like, yeah, let's check it out. And I have been playing an unreasonable amount of this game. Even played a little bit of it live. You can go check me out failing at Palworld while playing live on stream. That was kind of fun. A bunch of people trying to teach me like the mechanics of the game and everything. Anyway, I've put a lot of hours into it at this point, and it's really good. I'm actually enjoying it a lot more than I've enjoyed Pokemon in like a decade or two. Like, I'm enjoying it. It's good. If you've never been to one of my videos before, the basic gist is that I take a bunch of different characters for specific, not a bunch, it's four. It's always four. It's literally always four. I take characters, factions, worlds, whatever, and I introduce them to some kind of challenging scenario. In this video, we're taking four characters who are widely known as super genius crafter masters, and we're chucking them into the Palpagos Islands of Palworld to see what might happen. What kind of challenges will they run into? Will they make allies, enemies, frenemies, rivals, sexual lovers? What's gonna happen? Well, that's for me to know and for you to fucking find out. But I'm wasting up your time. Let's get started. So before we take these unlucky motherfuckers and just thrust them on into this fucking hellscape of a universe, we should probably go over what the universe is, what the Palpagos Islands are, and the challenges these characters will have to overcome when they arrive here. So let us discuss the Palpagos Islands from Palworld, Slaver's Paradise. What? It's not called Slaver's Paradise? I mean, it's implied though, right? Yeah, so you know how everyone makes jokes about Pokemon, about how it's just about a kid going around enslaving and forcing animals to fight each other, and the show is like 99% of the time just doesn't seem to care about any of that, like it's not really an issue. There's like one game where they dive into it a little bit, but for the most part, because it's a children's game, Nintendo just kind of sweeps all that shit under the rug. It's like, no, let's not go over that, it's fine. Yeah, Palworld doesn't do that. They are painfully aware of the fucked up shit that you do in this game, and they play it up, and it's a very, very, very large part of the lore. The Palpagos Islands is a super fucked up place where there are all manner of different factions and characters that are just straight up evil, man. There's really no getting around it. The Team Rocket faction that exists within Palworld is called the Rain Syndicate, and their whole thing is going around murdering innocent people, stealing their pals so they could sell them on the black market. The black market themselves also do this. They steal piles and sell them and trade them and stuff like that. But it's also very heavily implied that they just straight up execute people with like medieval torture devices and shit. There's an extremist terrorist group in this game whose whole thing is about killing innocent people because they're trying to save the pals from all of the enslavement and murder and all that kind of stuff, who are also kind of a cult because they follow a leader who believes that it's a sin against God in order to treat the pals the way they're treating. But this faction also very heavily dives into the slave trade themselves, and they justify it by convincing themselves that they need the money in order to do the terrorism that they need to do, and in order to acquire that money, it's okay to enslave pals. Basically, an ends justify the means type of mentality. There is a second cult in this game because, you know, one's not enough, who's like, we don't really know what their deal is, but they like to burn people alive, and I think they maybe worship fire. There's a bunch of different factions here. They're all basically equally fucked up. One of the factions even operate as the police of the game, and you end up finding out that the leader of the police, as well as the police themselves on the Palpagos Islands, are all super corrupt and enjoy murder and are really big in the drug trade. There's like a whole thing where they really like cocaine, and they sell cocaine across the island, as well as feed cocaine to their pals so that their pals can do better in battle. And they knowingly not only allow and propagate the crime that happens on the island, but also do a lot of crime themselves because they're all just in it for money. And if the crime stops, then the flow of money also stops, and it just kind of keeps going like that. All the factions are about this fucked up. Basically, the universe of this game is a bunch of islands where the entire economy of the island works off of the enslavement of other beings. Just when I think that there are no more games made for me, Palworld comes to save the day and appeal to my whiteness. I mean, damn, you can even enslave people in this game. Yeah, you know how you throw Pokeballs at people, they don't do nothing in the Pokemon games? No, the Pal Spheres can capture people, and those people have to follow your orders because the Pal Spheres actually strip their will from them. I have more people slaves in this game than Pal slaves. Now, they do say there's not really much of a point in enslaving these people because Pals are better at battles. They're better at working in your camp, just generally better in every single way. So I enslaved those people. Yeah. Not gonna be talking that shit now, are you, fucker? And before people start giving me shit saying I'm a racist because I'm like pro-slavery or something, I just want to be clear. I am an equal opportunity slaver. I think that white people and black people and Asians and Jews and homosexuals and the trannies should all come together under one big rainbow flag of enslavement, the way it was meant to be done. I would argue that I'm even more pissed at America's history than you guys are. How dare you corrupt one of humanity's greatest pastimes, slavery? Had to get it all racial and shit. What's that? Fuck you. So let's all come together as one people and bring slavery back to its great roots. Not enslaving people with something as shitty and shallow as race, but because we love to dominate the wills of lesser men. What was I talking about? Oh, shit, video, right. So other than all the batshit insane people that exist on the island that are trying to do, like, super horrible shit to you, what other challenges will our survivors have to deal with when they go to the Palpagos Islands? And there's a lot. I mean, there's the pals themselves, and while there are some that don't attack you on sight, the vast majority of them just attack you on sight. They're pretty vicious. Unlike Pokemon, it's actually specifically stated that many of the pals just straight up eat people or kill people for sport. They're pretty not great creatures. So, you know, if you're more of the sensitive sort, don't feel so bad about enslaving them. But these pals are capable of some super crazy shit. I mean, even the opening hours of the game, within the first 10 pals that you come across, there's this one pal named Daydream that has the ability to put you to sleep permanently. Like, it just puts you in this infinite sleep and you stay asleep until you die, just in very blissful dreams, never wanting to wake up. There's another pal named Alpaca who has these like wind attacks where it kicks the air and it shoots wind at people. And if you read its pseudo Pokedex description, it actually states that it has hypersonic kicks that split the air, and that's how it does that. These two pals are considered some of the weakest in the entire game, and you come across them before you hit level 5. You're capable of punching them to death with your fists. By the end of the game, you start running into legendary pals and shit whose descriptions state things like they can start apocalyptic earthquakes. Yeah, like earthquakes that can end the world. I'm not gonna go over every single important description for every single pal. There's like 155 pals in the game and counting, they keep increasing. But just know that most of them don't really add anything new, maybe a couple lore bits here and there. And then like every 5 or so descriptions will come across something ridiculous like putting people to sleep forever or kicking at hypersonic speeds. It just sort of is the way it works. It's very similar to Pokemon in that way. The humans in Palworld are not normal humans, not even close. You play as a character known as the Pal Tamer, and you are not shown to be enhanced or better than anyone else on a physical standpoint, and you can do some seriously impressive shit. For instance, there is not a single pal in this game that the Pal Tamer cannot lift with one hand over its head. There are pals in this game that are easily over 5 tons. That's 10,000 pounds. And for people who don't live in like a real country, I don't know, convert it to fucking kilos or whatever you do. There's a pal in this game that you come across again at the beginning of the game called Mamorist, which is a mammoth fused with a forest. It's fucking huge. It's like the size of a small house. And again, you can lift it up over your head with one hand as the Pal Tamer. And this is early game Pal Tamer. End game Pal Tamers are way stronger. The weapons in this universe are incredibly advanced with plasma guns and laser guns and different weird grenades that can like siphon life from you and just kind of all kinds of crazy RPG level shit. The environment itself is trying to kill you. There are scorching deserts in this game that even if you go to completely naked, it will fry you alive just being there. You have to specifically make armor and shit that protects and keeps you cool. There are super icy locations that exist at the top of mountains where a lot of really strong pals are, and you would want to go there because there's a lot of good shit up there. That is so cold, even if you're wearing heavy winter outfits, it will freeze you in a couple of minutes. Also, as a bonus, there's a pal in this game who is very heavily implied to have created that mountain and caused that cold, which is why it's way colder than what is normal. Overall, as fun as the game of Palworld is, this place would be a fucking nightmare to go to. Everything's trying to murder, eat, or enslave you. The environment itself is trying to kill you. I haven't really talked about the pal spheres, but they're one of the most broken bullshit things ever. It's a fucking sphere that you throw at people, and it locks them in an alternate dimension outside of our own dimension, outside of space and time, where not only are they just trapped forever, but it also mind fucks you, strips you of your will, and makes it so that you have to be obedient to the person who caught you in the first place. So it's like a double power thing that it has. And like I said earlier in the video, show, it works on everything, not just pals, but humans as well. As fun as Palworld is as a game, this place is a fucking nightmare to be a part of. Everything is trying to eat you, murder you, or enslave you in some capacity. Everyone you come into contact with is super, super evil and is not to be trusted. So let's not waste any more time and see how the survivors will do in such a fucking just hellscape. It's awful. Truly awful. First up on the chopping block, we have Steve from Minecraft. This is going to be an interesting experiment. So in case you weren't aware of my whole deal, I'm not really a part of any communities. I'm not really. I'm just straight up not a part of any communities, right? Like, I watch Rick and Morty, okay? I don't love it, but I like it. I enjoy the show. I watch it. I'm gonna be watching the next season when it comes on streaming. I like the show. People always tell me that the community of Rick and Morty is toxic and horrible and awful. I have no idea. I'm not a part of that community. I'm not a part of any community. I don't go online to see what the online discourse of any particular series is. This has a fun side effect for me where every single series that I cover, when I cover it for the first time, I never really know what response I'm gonna get or how extreme that response is gonna be. Most of the time, it's great. I get a bunch of comments of people disagreeing or agreeing, and we talk about it. It's all really cool. But every so often, you get a community like Warhammer 40K or Dragon Ball where they are very aggressive. Let's just say aggressive. Because sadly, in the real world, we don't have glowy space magic balls that can strip the will of the people around us. They have, like, you know, the freedom to fucking speak their mind and do whatever they want and all that. Just fucking bullshit. Point of the matter is, I have absolutely no idea what the Minecraft community is like, or how they will take me putting Minecraft first on the list, meaning that the character of Steve will be doing the worst in the Palworld universe out of the 4 characters that appear in this video. And considering that Minecraft is the 4th highest selling game franchise of all time, making it the largest video game series I have ever covered on this channel, the response to this is going to be an interesting experience. So, yeah, let's find out how this is gonna go. The fact of the matter is that there is a legitimate reason as to why Steve is not going to do that well in the Palworld universe. And not really just the Palworld universe, but really any universe whatsoever. Is it a dumb reason? Yes, it is a dumb reason, but you're watching kind of a dumb video. So, I mean, what were you really expecting? And the reason is because outside of specifically the Minecraft universe, Steve has 0 skills or abilities to do literally anything. He is basically just a dude with enhanced strength and durability and literally nothing else. Why? Because all of the Minecraft building within the game is canon to how that is actually done in the game, like in the lore of the game. For instance, if you're playing something like Ark Survival Evolved or Palworld, and you grab like some wood and some nails, and you put it together in a couple of seconds, you build some fucking shed or something, that's not canon. You're not actually putting just nails and a couple pieces of wood and building it in a few seconds. That's just the gameplay version of what you're actually doing, which is building a full fucking shed and going through all of the process that you need to in order to build that shed. That is not the way it works in Minecraft. In the Minecraft universe, if you punch a tree a couple of times, it'll break and turn into a bunch of wooden cubes. You can then take those wooden cubes, go punch some rock, make a bunch of rock cubes, and then put that wood cube with that rock cube together, and they'll stick. There's no process that needs to be done to make this possible. You can build whole houses by just getting cubes of dirt and putting them together. The laws of physics and good sense does not exist in the Minecraft universe. If you build a staircase, and you start by putting a couple blocks on the ground, and you build it all the way up so high that it goes above the clouds, right? You don't actually need any support beams for that staircase. Weight is not a factor here. And if you go and remove the bottom couple of steps on that staircase so that it is no longer attached to the ground, the entire staircase does not fall to the ground. It just stays there, floating in the air. It's just a flying fucking staircase now. This is the way the building works in Minecraft, but not just in the gameplay, in the actual world of Minecraft. This is how it works. How do we know this? Because Minecraft has a Netflix series. There are multiple games with stories where characters talk and go through a plot line. There's a live action movie where real people like Jack Black enters the fucking Minecraft universe and can take a piece of wood and can take a piece of stone and stick it to fucking together, and it just does it. That's just the way the universe works. That is not a power that is specifically attributed to Steve. If you take Steve out of the Minecraft universe and put him into the Palworld universe, and he goes and he punches a fucking tree into oblivion, in, the tree is not going to turn into a bunch of cubes. He will then not be able to take a piece of that wood and then stick it to a piece of rock and it fucking stay there. He will actually have to figure out how all of this shit works in a totally different universe. Basically, Steve from Minecraft has about as much knowledge of actually building things and actual survival skills as a average Minecraft player does. You can understand how Minecraft works and how to put shit together in the Minecraft universe and not know how to actually go outside and build a house. This is devastating for Steve because it makes him fucking worthless outside of his own universe. You can't even really argue that he'll eventually learn all that shit because it's not simple shit to learn. It's not simple to learn how to wire electricity throughout your entire house in the real world. It's a simple thing in Minecraft, but it takes years to learn how to properly do it in the real world. In Palworld, characters know how to do this. In Ark Survival, your character knows how to do this. They're incredibly intelligent characters who have a vast amount of knowledge that no normal human could possibly possess. Steve doesn't. In fact, Steve won't even understand most laws that exist within these other universes. Like, just think about it for a second. Let's say that Steve takes the time to try and make a pal sphere, right? Okay, so he goes off and he collects the palladium fragment, right? And then he gets a little piece of metal. I don't remember the exact ingredients to make the pal sphere, but it's pretty simple ingredients. And then he has to put the fucking thing together. It doesn't just stick together. He has to actually mold it, right? Someone is sitting there trying to teach him how to do it because, you know, he's not used to any of this stuff. We'll give him a teacher. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt and say he doesn't have to figure it all out himself. He will, but, you know, just for this hypothetical situation, we'll say he doesn't. So the guy just tells him, hey, okay, you take the palladium fragment and then you kind of like mold it and sort of change it into this sort of spherical shape, right? And then Steve's like, whoa, hold up. What's mold? What's a sphere? What is that? He's like, no, look, you just take your hands and then you just like mold it and you alter it and you shape it into a circular sort of object. Steve's like, well, what's a circle? What's shapes? What the fuck is a shape? Everything's a cube where I come from. It's all squares. There's no such thing as a circle. What are hands? I don't have hands. I have these square blunt block things that when I touch it with stuff, they just stick. Like, he's going to have to wrap his head around just basic ideas of shapes and geometry and weight and gravity that don't exist in the Minecraft universe. He's gonna take a very, very long time just understanding these principles because it's not like he just wasn't introduced to them. They literally do not exist in his universe. That's a totally different thing. It is a new concept that no one in his universe has ever had to understand before, and he now has to understand it before he can even begin to start educating himself on how electricity works or how to actually put two pieces of wood together and have them stick and make a house that's actually structurally sound and won't fall the fuck apart the moment you try to jump up and down inside of it. Now, I could be wrong, but I am assuming that there's going to be some people who are saying that this is all stupid, and I should have basically just ignored all of this and just said, well, you should have just thrown Steve in Palworld as if they were all his powers and he can do it, so you don't have to deal with all this. Well, I would say, welcome to the fucking channel. I don't do that here. This isn't about who would be best and trying to up the numbers of everybody's strength and speed and making them as badass as possible and just taking all of their knowledge and just fucking, we're not doing that. This channel has always been about what is the most interesting conversation to have if you stick one character into another character and just see how this shit would mix. And honestly, the most interesting conversation is that this character is going to have to relearn the concept of fucking concepts in order to even start to survive in this universe. It is going to be very hilarious. Of course, he's not gonna have the time to do that because he's gonna get killed by a pal like the moment he gets there. And if he doesn't get killed by a pal, he's gonna freeze to death the moment the sun goes down. That's something you have to deal with in Palworld when you get there. You need to very quickly build a fire and shit because the first night that passes, it gets so cold you fucking freeze to death. So yeah, I don't think that Steve is gonna survive the first night, honestly. He's gonna be killed by a pal or just straight up freeze to death without even coming into contact with a pal. It's not gonna be good for him. It's gonna be really bad. Now, for the Minecraft fans who really wanted Minecraft representation, maybe at some point I'll do a Minecraft challenge where I stick other characters in the Minecraft world, and that will change things quite a bit. Obviously, Steve can thrive there because it's his own universe, but the moment you pull that bitch out, that's fucking done. It's literally, I can't think of a single other universe where he won't be completely fucked because of the rules of his own universe and just how not complicated they are. Like, it's literally designed for children to understand. A 5-year-old can build these monumental extreme shit that's all canonical to the Minecraft universe. But that doesn't mean you could put that same 8-year-old kid into Palworld and expect him to build the shit in there that follows actual reality rules in the lore, not necessarily the gameplay. So yeah, long story short, Steve fucking dies. It If you're enjoying the video, make sure to like, subscribe, comment, share, and join the membership. Join the membership. You get exclusive access to new videos that nobody else can get. And remember to check the pinned comment down below for a link to the Discord, as well as my second channel where I have all sorts of other videos that are not survival challenges over there, including review of the new Superman movie. If you're interested in stuff like that, go check that out. Are you tired of this ad? So am I. Let's get back to the video. Next up, we have Crazy Dave from the Plants vs. Zombies series. I don't dislike Plants vs. Zombies. I want to be clear about that. I know that people are going to start getting that idea from me. It's not true. It's not true at all. I know this is the second video I put Crazy Dave in where he didn't do all that well in the video. And it's not because I think he's bad or he can't do cool stuff or anything like that. It's because, well, he's fucking retarded. He makes really poor decisions. I mean, the entire reason why the plot of the game started and the entire universe of Plants vs. Zombies is about a war between plants versus zombies that has fucked up the whole timeline is because Dave wanted to eat a taco. You cannot tell me that this is a character that makes good decisions. But honestly, that's not even really the reason why I don't think he's gonna do all that well. The main reason because he's never had to survive at a location outside of a society, and we're never shown that he has any survival skills whatsoever. His only real skill is just building really cool shit. So to talk about the whole society point and why this is really important, if you live in a society, like for instance, I am an electrician who lives in a society, right? If I want to do electrical work, I can go to a store and I could buy conduit and I could buy wire. I can buy breakers and junction boxes and all the things that I need to come into a house or to a location and do all the electrical shit that I need to do. I have all the knowledge I need for electrical work and I have all the tools I need to do it. If you stick me in the middle of an island where there isn't a fucking Home Depot where I can go get all this stuff, I can't do electrical. I don't have the ability to build a furnace from scratch by going and mining iron ore and creating concrete and then smelting the metal and molding it into the shape of a pipe and then hanging it on the wall by using screws that I also melted the iron ore in order to make. I can't mold the plastic to make the breakers that go into the junction box. I don't have these skills. The existence of society allows me to do the things that I need to do. When it comes to Dave, we have no evidence that he can do any of this shit either. He's a genius scientist who can make all kinds of crazy shit. He turned an RV into a time machine. Super impressive, right? Yeah, it is. I'm not gonna take that away from him. I would even say that he could probably build a whole RV from scratch. I don't doubt that whatsoever. But can he mold every individual little piece out of iron ore that he finds in the side of a mountain and had to mine, and then put into a furnace that he built from scratch to melt and shape it into the shape of screws and bolts and all the little intricate pieces that he needs for an engine, and put all of that together without anything when he just arrives on an island completely bare ass fucking naked with nothing but the hair on his head? He's not even gonna have that fucking pot hat. He's got nothing. We are never shown in Plants vs. Zombies if he has these skills, and anyone who tries to tell me that he does is just fucking guessing. They have no idea. Crazy Dave living in a city where he can go to a nearby junkyard or a Home Depot or any kind of store or something and get all the things that he needs in order to build the crazy shit that he builds is not the same thing as being on an island where there's nothing but trees and ore from rocks and things like this, and he could suddenly build all the crazy shit that he can build when he lives in a city. You're not going to convince me of that. So, does that mean that he's completely fucked and he can't do anything? No, he can. He just has to go out and get the technology that already exists in the island. The problem is he's gonna have to go steal it from all of the many evil groups that are out there because they don't sell that shit. Nobody is giving away fucking guns for free. And Crazy Dave has zero combat skills to be able to go and beat any of these people without his plants or technology. And he can't make his plants because the fucking weird, crazy genetic tampering shit that he does to make the plants, he won't have the technology to do. In order for him to properly survive here without the survival skills, he needs some form of technology, which isn't possible for him to acquire without combat skills. So while he's not going to be as useless as Steve, because at least he knows some science stuff, there might be some stuff he can do. Like he'll be able to build a fire, I would assume, you know, so he's not gonna freeze to death on the first night. Steve wouldn't even be able to do that because you don't make a fire in Minecraft the same way you do in our reality. And he'll likely be able to do some really cool science shit, but for the most part, his main skill is building stuff and ordering around a bunch of plant monsters, which he's not gonna have have access to here. And honestly, even if he did have access to all of his plants, like right from the beginning, which would be cheating because nobody else has any of this shit. But let's just say for a second that he does, I still don't think that's an instant win for him. And the reason for that is because fucking pal spheres exist here. There's only 155 different types of pals. There are 280 different types of plants across the Plants vs. Zombies universe. That means if he brings all his plants there, the number of monsters that exist on the Palpagos Islands will fucking double. An island where the entire economy of the island is built on catching fucking monsters. He will become the biggest target that has ever existed in the Palpagos Islands. Every single faction is going to come after him and catch all of his fucking plants by force. And for the first time in Crazy Dave's entire existence, he's going to be going to war with his plants against other plants. Because again, when pal spheres catch you, they mind fuck you and strip you of your free will. There's no evidence the plants can't have their free will stripped. There are pals in this game that are just basically plant monsters. And many of these pals actually do have a resistance to being put into another alternate dimension. They can actually fight back when being caught by the pal spheres. None of the plants in Plants vs. Zombies are ever shown having any kind of resistance to being locked into an alternate dimension outside of space and time. It works on them. Now, just to meet somewhere in the middle, if Crazy Dave did have all of his technology and he had all of his plants and he arrived in the Palpagos Islands, would he be able to survive? Yeah, probably, if he didn't do anything fucking stupid. He'd be able to make all kinds of different inventions that would likely fuck up his situation even more, like it always does. And the plants would probably be caught, but he can always make more, so he would just make more and more plants and cause this giant war and probably fuck up the Palpagos Islands more than it already is fucked up. But he would definitely survive. But that's not the challenge. The challenge is to take these ultimate super geniuses, strip them of all their shit, all Tony Stark, Iron Man 3 style, and chuck them at an island to see how they will be able to survive. And he's just not shown to have those skills. And this is why I think people really need to appreciate just how intelligent the characters in these survival games are, like Ark Evolve and Palworld, where they literally have nothing. Paltamer has a fucking loincloth when he appears on this island. And just in a couple of weeks, he ends up having fucking futuristic guns and shit that fire plasma and lasers, all of which he acquired through exploration, mining, and crafting. I mean, just think about that in reality for 2 seconds, right? You wash up on a completely abandoned island with nothing but giant monsters and a couple of factions with some guns. And then in a couple of weeks, you got fucking flying cars and this giant futuristic society that you just built from scratch because you mined some ore and cut down some trees. This shit is fucking ingenious. It makes Senku look like a fucking retard. So no, Crazy Dave cannot compete here. If he had some kind of fighting skill, he could survive, fight some dudes, take their technology, and then use that technology in order to make more stuff. Maybe he can even make better stuff because he is incredibly intelligent when it comes to technology. But without that technology, he's just kind of a really dumb dude. So yeah, dead. Next up on the list, we have Ratchet and Clank. Well, I don't know. Should I do Clank? No, right? Because Clank is a piece of technology, and everybody else I've just been sending to the Palpagos Islands without having a piece. But it would feel weird not having Clank with Ratchet. Like, Ratchet doesn't view Clank as a piece of machinery or a technology. It's his friend. It's like his buddy. You know, he views him as a person. And Clank views himself as a person. He even has romantic interests and gets horny for other robot chicks. He's not really a piece of technology, at least not treated. But I mean, no, I didn't give Crazy Dave any of his plants, so it would only be fair that I don't give Ratchet Clank, but it just feels wrong. I'm gonna put that on record. It doesn't feel right doing this, but yeah, so it's only gonna be covering Ratchet here. And I'm just gonna be honest with you, I haven't liked Ratchet since Ratchet and Clank 1. Probably. Don't get me wrong, I like the Ratchet and Clank series all the way up until Ratchet Deadlocked. Like, the first 4 games were really cool, and then after that, they kind of got a little shittier, and I stopped caring. But Ratchet as a character, I only liked in one game, and that's the first Ratchet and Clank, because he was cool! He was interesting in that game. People who never played the first Ratchet and Clank game, you missed out on, like, a really, really solid character. The original Ratchet was everything about the radical 90s that was awesome. Ratchet was a cool fucking character. He liked extreme sports and really big, awesome guns. And he didn't even really want to save the world. Like, the whole universe was in danger. Well, galaxy, not universe, but the whole galaxy was in danger because Drek was going around destroying fucking planets to build a new planet for his people because the planet that he came from was all polluted and and it's eventually revealed that he polluted on purpose just so he can make a new planet. And he just straight up says he's gonna pollute the new planet too so he can do it again and again. So like this massive money-making scheme that leads to the destruction of many worlds, and Ratchet just couldn't give a shit for a large portion of the game. He was a dude that was just stuck on this one planet that he didn't give a shit about for his whole life, and he's like, I want to get the fuck out of here. So he builds a ship to leave, and Clank's like, hey, you're a big fucking dumb hillbilly with a gun. We need help because the whole galaxy's in trouble. They're destroying planets and killing a bunch of people. I need your help. Can you come with me? And he's like, I mean, I guess I got nothing better to do. It sounds like fun. I get to kill lots of people with my big ass guns and go on this massive adventure. But it was always like Clank had to constantly try and drag this dude through the story. Clank would be like, hurry up, Ratchet. Drek's about to destroy this planet. And Ratchet's like, yeah, but they got this hoverboard race and that seems like way more fun. So I'm gonna go do this hoverboard race. And also, if you do the hoverboard race, they give you this free shit. And this free shit's really cool. It's like a fucking like motor that I could put on the back of a hoverboard to make it faster. Yeah, I want to do that. And Clank's like, what the fuck? No. If I had to give a basic description of original Ratchet, it was like one of the kids from Rocket Power. Remember Rocket Power? The Nickelodeon show about the kids who were like into extreme sports and shit. It's like one of them mixed with Jinx from League of Legends and then make him like a neutral character that throughout the story eventually becomes a chaotic good character. By the end of the story, he actually does become a legitimate hero, but it takes a lot for him to get there because, you know, he has like a legitimate fucking character arc and shit. After that, I guess parents complained because they thought that he was like a bad role model, which he was never meant to be a role model, so no shit. It's a T for teen game. You're not supposed to let your fucking 10-year-old kid play it anyway, but whatever. So the developers decided to change his voice actor and his personality completely and then release the second one, and now he's fucking boring. He's just like generic good guy, and he says things that make no fucking sense for his character. Like they tried to make him appeal to, I guess, the people they think play games, losers or something, by like saying stupid shit like, you know, he's like nerdy shit. He was never like, it's weird. They made a terrible remake of the original game years later. Not a good game. Don't bother playing it. Awful. But in that, they gave him the personality of the new Ratchet, not the personality of the original Ratchet. And man, did that game suffer for it. Like watching any scene that happened in the original next to the scenes that happened in the remake, they're basically completely opposite characters. And the really cool banter and shit that happened back and forth between Ratchet and Clank, where Clank was like this really smart, intelligent, philosophical character who was always trying to do the right thing, and Ratchet was just this fucking bumbling hillbilly with a gun who just liked to fucking party and do crazy over-the-top shit that he thought was fun. He was like a daredevil or a thrill seeker. The personality clashes between those two characters were interesting. They just kind of made them both good guys that just always do the right thing, and it's fucking boring. It's a boring fucking thing. I remember there's one scene in a new game where he walks into like this tech shop.
Holy cow. I've died and gone to nerd heaven. Look at this. They have my blaster runs hot. Fungoid with a stick. Oh, Spiro the Space Moose. They even have the Mega Limited Ultra Edition of Intransigence Fall of Blarg.
That one comes with exclusive content if you pre-ordered through Gadgetron. I take it you're the ones Cora called me about? The ones in need of a new helipack upgrade?
You must be Big Al. It is nice to meet you. I am Clank. This is Ratchet. Ratchet, that's the man we saw on the infobot. Remember? He knows Captain Quark.
Hey, you're that robot guy, right?
No, actually, I build robots. I myself am not a robot guy, per se.
Nerd.
I like him.
Old Ratchet would have shoved new Ratchet into a fucking locker. Like, he would have bullied him. Original Ratchet was not a nerd, and they never felt like original Ratchet had to appeal to the possible, like, nerd players. They even made the dude less physically strong looking. Like, Ratchet was always a short dude, but he always looked kind of muscular. And then the new Ratchet, they slimmed him up, and now he looks like he's never worked out a day in his life. I don't like this Ratchet. I don't buy this Ratchet. I believe that old Ratchet would go in with a bunch of guns blazing and kill hundreds of people without blinking an eye. I don't buy that this new version of Ratchet, this fucking goody two-shoes bullshit Ratchet, is gonna go around just massacring thousands of fucking people with badass guns. It just doesn't fit. I hate it. I don't like the shift. I don't think he's a good character. He hasn't had a character arc since the first game. And I think the developers kind of realized that because they had to start retconning past things like the whole Lombax. He's a lost Lombax and he has to like find his people and what happened because there's nothing interesting about him. him. Like, his storytelling and arc can't be internal anymore because he's not interesting enough for that. So we have to make it all external shit where it's like, I have to find this thing and that will somehow complete me. God, I fell off of this series so fast. Man, now I'm fucking depressed. Whatever. If you take Ratchet, you throw him on the Palpagos Islands, he'll do fine. We find out at the beginning of Ratchet and Clank 2 Going Commando that he had a bunch of training in between games, including stealth, hand-to-hand combat training, firearms training, which honestly, neither of those did he really need, but he got more of it. But among those trainings was survivalist training. You can take Ratchet and drop him on an island with absolutely nothing, and he will be able to survive. He lived on a completely barren fucking planet for his entire life, with no other known people there, and he was able to survive on a planet of monsters. He was able to build his own ship, create his own garage, like he lived there fine, and there was no evidence of a city or any civilization on that planet that he lived with. He was perfectly fine with surviving. You also have the fact that Ratchet is stupidly strong. Not just strong, but all his physical abilities are really impressive. He is physically strong enough to punch a giant robot and its fucking head exploded. That happened in a comic book, by the way, not in a game. So if you're having trouble thinking. Yeah, in a comic, he punched this robot and his fucking head exploded. It was a lot. It was his bare-fisted punch. He wasn't wearing the big-ass boxing glove thing. It was just his normal fist. He's so durable in the first game, he wasn't wearing anything but fucking regular pants. He didn't have a shirt on. He crashed his ship from space into the side of this mountain. The ship exploded. He went flying out of the ship, hit the ground several stories, and he just got up and was fucking fine. That was before he was wearing armor. And this universe has super advanced armor. He eventually gets like nano armor and shit that can actually repel damage back to its attacker and heal him with nanobots and all kinds of shit. He didn't even have that back then. And he was wrecking dudes fucking shit. This is a character that had nothing but a wrench. And you can send him at an army of 200 dudes with nothing but a wrench. And he can fucking kill all of them without getting hit by a single shot. Ratchet is an impressive specimen. The only real downside I see about Ratchet, and the only reason why I have him not last but second to last, is because he's not human. So I think people will mistake him for a PAL the moment they see him, and given that he doesn't look like any other PAL, they're gonna think he's a new PAL species, therefore he will be hunted greatly. And since he's the only one, they might actually see him as a super rare species that will then make him a target. But I don't really think that's an issue, because I'm not really sure there's anything on this island that can really kill him, other than other PAL. Like, no human being can. The Syndicate can come hunt him, but he could take them out, and once he takes them out, he can take all of their technology and tinker with it. I haven't even gone into like his actual intelligence, but he is actually a mechanic. He built a fucking starship from scratch. He tinkers with his guns and has created guns from scratch. Now, we've never seen him like mine iron ore and create a furnace, so they like start from scratch like I was saying before, but he doesn't have to. He can just take the technology from the people he fights and then tinker with that technology and make new technologies out of it, which he's more than capable of doing. And he has way more advanced technology in his universe than exists in Palworld, and he is considered in his universe to be a genius level scientist. So I don't see any reason why he wouldn't be able to take that technology and turn it into things that are way more impressive than anything that Palworld has, which true is something that Crazy Dave would also be able to do, but the main difference being Crazy Dave isn't strong enough to actually take that technology, whereas Ratchet very clearly is. He's gonna fucking mollywop basically everybody he comes into contact with. Only like the most powerful pals are gonna be that much of a challenge to him, and as long as he's beating the shit out of people, taking their technology and upgrading it, at some point he's gonna start making technology that's so advanced that even the legendary pals aren't really gonna be able to deal with him. I mean, he has fucking black hole guns and guns that turn people into sheep. Not like god level beings that are turned into sheep, but like those god level beings just become fucking sheep. They're just fucking sheep now. He can just kill them as if they're any other sheep. He can turn you into a snowman. He can mind control you. He can shrink you to like an inch tall and then step on you. There's a lot of different crazy guns that he has in Ratchet and Clank. Ratchet is gonna be just fine. Last but certainly not least, we have Franky from One Piece. And to just kind of bury the lead here, yeah, I think Franky's gonna do fine. I honestly think that Ratchet and Franky are basically interchangeable on this list. Like, I don't have an issue with either one being higher or lower than the other. I think both of them will be very successful. I think you can argue that Ratchet's tech is far more advanced than Franky's tech, and the shit that he's capable of building is better. But Franky does have his own advantages, like not being a fucking rat alien man that's going to be mistaken for a pal. I mean, Franky does look weird, but he's still very clearly, I guess, clearly human. I don't know. Would he be mistaken? I don't think he doesn't look like a pal. Like, he looks like a weird deformed dude. I think people would be able to tell the difference and not try and catch him for being a fucking pal. But he also has a lot of other advantages. For one, he's the only character on this list who we've actually seen be able to create shit from scratch in the true way that you would need to in order to survive. As I said before, characters like Crazy Dave and Ratchet, while they're very intelligent and can build stuff, I'd say you can argue Ratchet could probably do that given the location that he is on at the beginning of the first game. Like, there's no society there, so where's he getting all of his materials? Or at least we don't see a society. Well, that's also true. We don't see the society, but we also don't see the whole planet. It's very possible there's a society somewhere on that planet, but it just looks like he's out in the middle of the fucking boonies surrounded by monsters. So I'm gonna say that one is kind of up in the air. But Crazy Dave, there's really no evidence at all whatsoever that he can like take the actual original materials, iron, wood, or whatever, and then turn it into like crazy advanced super technology like the Palatamer can. We kind of do have evidence, at least some, that Franky can do that. Like during the time skip when Kuma sends him to fucking Vegapunk's Snowy Island lab, that lab is completely fucked. Nothing works. Everything's destroyed. It's been abandoned for years. He builds it back up to being brand new, which I know is not the same thing as what I'm talking about. But one thing he does do is he crafts Wapple metal from scratch. We actually have confirmation that he did this. Wapple metal is a metal that was created by Wapple on accident because Wapple can eat things and then fuse those things together in his stomach and make new things. And he created Wapple metal, which is like super special metal that is particularly flexible and it can change and alter in ways that normal metal can't. And Franky, without having the same superpower that Wapple does, was just able to forge this metal using the things that he found in the mountain. So he does actually have forging abilities in a way that nobody else we've seen has. Well, I'm not going to say that his skills are as far as the Palatamer, where you literally just throw him on an island with nothing but a loincloth and he creates fucking super sci-fi weapons. He's probably going to need a little bit of other stuff. He can do it better than anyone else on this list for sure. And much like Ratchet, actually acquiring that technology will not be that hard because, I mean, it's going to take a while for him to run into somebody that can actually do him any damage. Franky is one tanky motherfucker. He's basically going to be bulletproof and completely unaffected by most attacks from pals and people for like a solid 50 or 60% of this game. Yes, even the Malpaka's hypersonic kicks aren't really gonna do anything to Franky. I just thought for a second to myself, like a cool idea. Imagine the One Piece story, right? And when Kuma shows up and he separates all the Straights go to like their different islands that they have to spend the time skip on to train. What if Franky, instead of being sent to Vegapunk's island, he was sent to the Palpagos Islands with all the pals and shit? How would his technology have advanced in a different direction having spent the 2 years on the Palpagos Islands as opposed to Vegapunk's lab? All of his post-time skip abilities, powers, and technology would be completely different because now he would have been making it based off palladium fragments that have completely different abilities. Like palladium fragments allow you to open up holes in space-time. Like how would that have affected his technology? What could he have made with that shit? That would be really interesting to see. I don't know. I'm not about to speculate all that, but I mean, it would be cool. I mean, I can imagine like the 2-year time skip. He would just be here and doing his own thing, like building up his little base, kind of surviving, getting technology, studying the pals, trying to improve and prepare himself for the end of the time skip. And then all of a sudden he runs into the fucking syndicate, or some people come to him and be like, oh, the syndicate's trying to kill us all. And then he has like a whole arc where Franky has to deal with an evil crime syndicate and fight his way through the crime syndicate to the boss and take out the entire syndicate, which would be funny because he actually owned his own sort of crime family syndicate at one point. So it would sort of actually make sense for his character arc. Like he started off as a crime boss and now he's going after a crime boss. And it's, I don't know, I think it would be interesting. Basically, over the course of the 2-year time skip, he would spend it slowly taking out all these different criminal organizations on this island until he's just completely cleared of crime. Like once he gets to the end and he's beaten them all, that's how you know his training's over. You know, he beat the legendary Pokemon, he did all that kind of stuff, and then he can go fucking meet Luffy on Sabity Archipelago or whatever. I don't know. I think that would be an interesting story. I would read that little short mini arc. One issue I do see with Franky that I also see with Ratchet, or at least like later Ratchet, not original Ratchet, is I don't see either of these characters enslaving pals and using them for their own benefit. Now, original Ratchet, yes, 100% for sure. That dude is enslaving every fucking pal on that island. He is going to enjoy the fuck out of that shit. New Ratchet, he's a pussy. No, he's not going to do it. And I don't really see Franky doing it either. So the whole, you know, utilizing the pals and fucking going to war and all that, yeah, I'm not seeing that happen. It's really just going to be Frank on himself, building up his technology, possibly making like a safe haven where other people can come willingly if they want to stay safe away from all the pal monsters that are trying to kill them, and the syndicate and other criminal organizations that are all fucking with people. Like they might come to him for protection because he's this giant fucking what, 8-9 foot. Well, I guess if we're doing it while the time skip, he wouldn't be. No, we're doing like modern Franky. So yeah, he's like fucking 8, 9, 10 feet tall. I don't know, however tall he is. He's this giant fucking robot man who blows shit up, who's offering to protect everybody from all the dangerous shit that's on this island. Yeah, I mean, I see this going really well for him. You know, it's times like this that I kind of get bummed out that I don't take 2 characters and put them in a situation at the same time, because I actually think a Franky Ratchet team up on the Palpagos Islands would be infinitely fascinating. Just two insanely intelligent tech geniuses. Well, original Ratchet would be interesting. Again, new Ratchet, whatever. Like with how Franky treats shit like giant robots and cool explosions and all that kind of stuff, and the way that Ratchet is with his guns and his sort of thrill-seeking type ways, they would be like best buds, dude. That team up would be badass. I would actually not mind. You know what? I might make a video like that, not with the Palpagos Islands, but like what two characters who come together in a team up would be like the most interesting, or like who would make the best duo team against a challenge. Ratchet and Franky is not one that I would have ever thought about in a million years, but that's a fucking cool team up. I actually would, but only original Ratchet. That's important. That's an important factor. Don't forget that. But that's all I have for today. Hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, share, and join the membership. Remember, join the membership. You get exclusive access to videos that no one else can see. And don't forget to check the pinned comment down below where you will see a link to the Discord as well as my second channel where I've also, well, it's only 2 videos right now, but I'm adding more to there. Last video I did was a review of the new Superman movie, so go check that out if you're interested. And always remember, y'all stay safe out there, you hear?